Mr.
Hello.
Asad, welcome.
Thank you so much. Oh, I think I closed the door. There we go.
Windy City.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Dora.
Okay. I'm Asad.
How did you wake up?
Woke up early because I came from New York a few days ago, so I'm still a little bit kind of...
In between time zones, in the air somewhere.
Exactly.
How would you describe yourself?
Well, I don't think I'm unusual in that sense because a lot of artists these days do lots of different things, and you use the medium for a project that seems to work for that project. I think that's an old expression from Rosalind Krauss from the 1980s even, that we live in a post-medium condition. So it's no longer like there are filmmakers and there are artists who only do sound and there are artists who only paint. I mean, there are, of course, but it's pretty common for people to do different things. My work has actually almost always been relating to live situations with interaction in museums and galleries, because I started with working with Tino Sehgal, the great Tino Sehgal, and this is the first time I made a film in a long time, since I studied film at NYU Film
Because
School.
you are here through the Framework program, through Philippe Parreno, and you have been, like you said, the first film in a long time, but you have already been nominated for this Framework program, so it's quite a nice entry into the film world again.
Yeah.
And how does it feel then now to have a film here?
It's a little nerve-wracking. Normally I can make changes up until the last minute, but in cinema I had to send them the DCP like 2 weeks ago, so I'm sort of stuck here. But we'll see. I'm glad you liked it.
What do you hope people will feel or think of? How do they leave the cinema?
I mean, one thing I hope that they realize is that identity is much more convoluted than the conversation about identity and history is right now. You know, everyone's talking about like where people are from and who they are. And here's one 90-year-old man, if you actually listen to the story of his life, he's born in British India, goes to this very posh school, but he's also fleeing because of violence. Then he's in Pakistan, then he joins the army, then he comes to the USA. It's like, who is he? What is he? What religion is he? He's an atheist, it turns out. You know, where does he come from? Well, I don't know. All of these places. What country does he probably feel the most like he's kind of his origin is probably India, but the India that existed then, which doesn't exist after 1947. So it's like very complex, and the complexity and sort of interesting texture of history is just so much richer than the way that people talk about it mostly. So I hope that people will come out feeling a little bit, you know, interested by that, because that will open up the rest of what's around them too.
I see a line now.
Yeah?
You're post-disciplinary, but then you're also post-identity.
That's for sure, I think. I mean, I don't know if I'm post-identity, but I'm not that interested in like closing it down. You know, someone I'm very influenced by is this philosopher Edouard Glissant from Martinique, and he said that we all have something opaque inside ourselves, which we cannot understand.
Opaque?
Opaque means something that you can't see through. Like, if we paint this window black, it becomes opaque. And Glissant says that we all have, part of us is opaque to ourselves. And the fact that we all have that is not what separates us, but what joins us. And I think that that's a very important thought.
Back to the film, Minor History, to your uncle, Wahid, who is 90 years old. And what I loved and found interesting and also touching is that he has this great, fascinating stories about his life. He has experienced a lot. He was in the army in Pakistan and experienced terrible things. But before that, you film him in his apartment, which is this chaos, and he has this bedroom with a 3-layer mattress. When you think, this 90-year-old man, how does he get into that bed? And he climbs up a chair, and you combine these details of daily life with those horrific stories he has. Is that something you thought on forehand to do, or is it something that just happened because you were filming him constantly?
I think in a way the details of his life are more interesting even than the stories. Yeah. Seeing how he lives, seeing how he has to walk around in this kind of very American landscape of strip malls and suburban kind of stuff.
Watching 90-year-old people walk is a film in itself.
It's true.
Yeah.
You could make, I mean, first of all, I'm very happy that you watched the movie. This is like one of my first conversations with someone who I don't know who watched this movie, because it hasn't shown yet. It's showing tomorrow.
Yeah. I saw it online.
Yeah, and there's a long sequence where he talks in a car too.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I think the details of his everyday life are really crucial to understanding him. And I'm not as interested in like history with a capital H, you know. That's why there's no archival footage, there's no photos, there's no kind of Ken Burns effect. I shouldn't make fun of
timeline.
Yeah, like it's not. I'm not trying to recreate some big thing called history and tell you about it. I'm more interested in how the details of one person's life have so many twists and turns that in a weird way retrace the actual history of the 20th century from that larger perspective, but in a much more fascinating idiosyncratic way.
And I read somewhere that you are post-disciplinary.
Did I say that?
No, somebody else.
Okay, right.
Somebody
That's
else,
fine.
don't worry. People talk about you and then they say that you're post-disciplinary. And then I thought, what does that even mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean? But that you don't cling to a discipline?
I do think that, you know, in the 20th century, if you look around us, everything is being made by specialists who do that thing. And everything is done by experts who specialize in one field. So the idea of disciplinarity is something that was very powerful in the last 150 years. And modernism is built out of fragmenting the senses into different expertise areas and then treating those expertise areas only. The problem with that is it's boring for the people who do it. It also leads to products that don't have a holistic nature. So I think it's good to be post-disciplinary,
but
if
you
that's
have
what someone says.
You have to be able to do it. You have to have.
Well, you saw the movie. Do you feel it was? I mean, was it competent?
Yeah.
So I think anyone can do it then, you know, because I hadn't picked up a camera for a long time, and I shot most of the movie with my nephew, and we edited it, you know, in Leipzig with a person who I met there.
If you can edit it in Leipzig, then anyone
can
edit
make
it.
a movie.
Yeah.
You can make a movie. Anyone can make a movie, especially now because you can get the stuff, and it's not that, you know, it's not that difficult to get the stuff. In the past, to shoot like 35 millimeter or 16 millimeter and develop it alone was costing $10,000, which no one has. So.
But was it? Did it taste for more?
Definitely.
What does the IFFR mean for you then?
It's such a powerful art form, and I've been so influenced by so many films. Like everyone else alive, our whole dream world is populated by the movies. I mean, when I think about my memories, so many films are part of that, and so many films made such a big impact on me. I like how the festival stitched itself into the city quite a bit. Rather than meaning it takes place in all these sites that have their own, you know, that are part of Rotterdam. So you go into the city rather than all happening in one building where you're kind of sequestered or separated from the city. That I don't think is interesting. Yeah. Doesn't seem fun.
You're there. You have to go again.
All right.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Have fun tomorrow.
I'll do my best.
Drink the cocktails. Thanks for the
try.
conversation.
Bye.